स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे।
A teacher in the Himalayas, Swami, was talking about how once when he was giving a talk on Advaita Vedanta, the kind of things we were speaking about this afternoon or yesterday, and there was a mixed group of devotees. Some were scholars, some were monks, many were ordinary people from villages, and there was this lady, seemed to be illiterate from a village, and a very simple lady from a village sitting there. After the talk, she got up and said with great disgust, "Ye kya hai? What is this? I came to hear a spiritual talk. Na Ram or Dhanush, the Dhanurdhari Ram, na Murli wale, Banshi wale Murli Manohar. There is no Rama with his bow and arrow. There is no Krishna with his flute. What kind of spiritual talk is this? Brahman, Maya, and the five koshas, and Viveka, and attaining Brahmajnana. What is this? What's going on? What's spiritual about it?" I told you of my experience yesterday that in Belur Math, once I gave a talk, and after the talk, one gentleman came up and said very sweetly to me, "It's nice what you said." You know, I always lean a little bit towards Vedanta, so it's nice what you said. But little Rama, little Krishna if you had, it will be nice. So now we're going to talk about some real religious stuff. Quite apart from all high philosophy. Come. Come. It depends on how you construe the problem. The solution will come from that. The path to be taken also comes from that. In the path of jnana, we were told that Satchidananda is the reality, we don't know it. Ignorance is the problem, so knowledge will be the solution. If knowledge is the solution, then the method to be adopted, that follows immediately. Once you have construed the problem, the solution and the method also will follow. If knowledge is the solution, then the solution, how do you get knowledge? Obviously through teaching and hearing and thinking and enquiring. It's very inquiry. In Vedanta it is called vichara, the method of inquiry. Why inquiry? Why do all this kind of intellectual thing? Because after all, what are you pursuing? You are pursuing knowledge. Why are you pursuing knowledge? Because the problem is ignorance. Here the yogi, the Patanjali yogi comes and says, that's not your real problem. The problem is distraction of the mind. The mind is shaky, mind is scattered in 101 things in the world. If you can concentrate the mind and calm down the mind, the truth that you are the Atman will be revealed to you spontaneously. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the second sutra. What is yoga? Is it jnana? No, it's samadhi. Yoga is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Sanskrit meaning the cessation of the modifications of the mind is called yoga. Imagine, compare the mind to a lake, and the waves in the mind are the thoughts, feelings, ideas, emotions which you are continuously getting. According to Patanjali Yoga, the problem is these waves these eddies, these whirlpools on the mind, on the lake of the mind, they prevent you from seeing through to the bottom of the lake. If you calm down the mind, if the lake remains without any waves, if the lake remains absolutely calm, what will happen? The third sutra, Yoga Sutra says, Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Then the drashta, the seer, the witness, the pure consciousness which you are, is appreciated, remains in its real nature as pure consciousness. Swami Vivekananda comments in his Raja Yoga there. What happens is when the mind is in Samadhi, imagine a lake which fulfills two conditions. One is there are no waves on the surface of the lake. The lake is absolutely still. One. Two, the water is absolutely clear, crystal clear. Then you can see through to the bottom of the lake. We've seen this in the Himalayan, when the Ganga is very shallow in winter and very, it does not move. Water flow is very clear. It's so crystal clear you can see through to the bottom. Now imagine the mind is a lake. There are two problems. If the water is muddy, then you cannot see through to the bottom. That muddiness is the impurity in the mind. And if the water is moving, if it is restless, there are waves, then you cannot see through to the bottom. So two conditions have to be fulfilled. The lake must not move, must be still, and second, it must be very clean. Then only you can see through. Similarly, in Samadhi, when the lake of the mind is absolutely still, then that you are the Atman, the term they use is Purusha in Patanjali Yoga. You are the pure consciousness beyond the mind that you see. To put it in simple words, the mind which is continuously thinking and chattering away, is it possible to quieten the mind to the point where there is no thought in the mind? Ramana Maharshi used to say, why are you thinking so much? Thinking is not your natural condition. What a profound thing to say. Thinking is not natural condition. Your natural condition. It's natural for the mind to think. But for you, you are not the mind. Continuous thinking is covering up what you really are. Mind is very tricky. Mind is saying, you want enlightenment. Okay, I will give you enlightenment. You read this book, think about this thought, think about that thought, you will get enlightenment. The mind is just trying to find a job. It doesn't want to be unemployed. It is seeking employment. And it tricks you. Enlightenment, I will give it to you. It gives you a further lease of, some more time to think. Patanjali Yogi says, don't think. Stop this thinking. Chitta vritti nirodha. And then you realize you are the self beyond the mind. If you are thinking in the normal course of events right now, what is the problem? If the mind does not think in Samadhi, then it shows you that you are the self beyond the mind. But when it thinks, the fourth sutra, the Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Other than Samadhi, in our normal condition, right now for example, whatever thought, feelings, emotions, ideas, desires come up in the mind, we immediately become identified with it. Vritti sarupyam. Anger comes up in the mind. What is our feeling? Not that the mind is angry. The feeling is, I am angry. What has become? What has happened? You have become identified with the mind. Patanjali Yoga says, so the modifications of the mind are the problem. Settle the mind down. You want knowledge, right? That knowledge will not come from reading Vedanta or attending Vedanta classes. The knowledge will come from quietening the mind, making it still. You will realize that you are Brahman, that you are the Purusha. Then if the problem is the distraction of the mind, then the solution is concentration of the mind. Then the method will be meditation. Now can you contrast the two? The Vedantic approach was, problem is ignorance, solution is knowledge, method is Vedantic study and analysis and then meditation on what you have studied. So you must study, you must come to Vedanta class, you must think about it, and you must focus on what you have thought about. Just like any kind of study. Go to university, that's exactly what you do. That's the Vedantic approach. Because the problem is ignorance, solution is knowledge, and method will be whatever you need to do to acquire knowledge. But if you posit, if you set up the problem as restlessness, then the solution will be concentration. And the method will be not study. No, that will just increase your restlessness. The method will be meditation. This contrast, you can see, because of how you have set up the problem. I remember, I sometimes give the example of a young monk I met in Gangotri. He was meditating in a cave. Young Nepali boy, I think he was 20-21 years old. I said, what are you trying to do? I'm practicing Patanjali yoga to achieve Samadhi. He says, once I nearly attained it, but I got so scared I ran away, jumped up from my asana and ran away. From that time onwards I'm trying to attain Samadhi, Patanjali yoga. Then I asked him, what about Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta? Don't you like Advaita Vedanta? Look at his answer. That's a yogic mindset. Look at the answer. He said, in Hindi he said, हाँ ठीक है लेकिन बहुत बात करते हैं कोई अनुभूति नहीं है उनकी. What about the Vedantics? It's all right, but they talk a lot. They don't have any experience. From a yogic point of view, somebody said it's true.
No. He's got his point.
From the yogic point of view, from the yogic point of view, what are these Vedantics doing? They're going to classes, they're talking endlessly, reading endless books and thinking. Arey Baba, stop thinking. You will never get enlightenment that way. Why? Why does he think in that way? Because his understanding of the spiritual problem is functioning of the mind itself is the veil which is obstructing you. So Samadhi is the solution for the yogic mindset, not for the Advaitic mindset. So this is the criticism from the yogic point of view for the Advaitic point of view. What is the Advaitic reply? It says if you go and sit in Samadhi, sit quietly, what will happen? You will sit quietly, that's all. It's like, see the connection is this from a Vedantic point of view. I don't know physics, so I enroll in CMU or some university to learn physics. Now, what do I have to do to learn physics? You have to get the textbooks, you have to attend the classes, listen to the professor, think about it, and then you will get it. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Attend classes, study systematically, then think deeply about it. What did the professor say? And then in a flash you will get it. That study and thinking is basically Manana and Nididhyasana, reflecting and meditation. And then you get it. Being quiet, sitting quietly, is it useful for learning physics? You might say, yeah, it's useful. Yeah, it's useful. If you're jumping around too much and too much distracted on online and computers and mobile and all, you will never learn because the mind is too much distracted. But just sitting quietly, you will never learn physics. If you say, sit quietly in meditation, don't think, will I learn physics, will I get my degree? No. You may be nicely spaced out, but you will not get your degree. You won't get your degree. Just sitting quietly, it won't work. You have to learn. For that, sitting quietly is good. It's useful. So the Vedantin will say your yoga, your meditation is very useful for Vedanta, but that is not central. The central thing is to study the Upanishads under the guidance of a teacher, get what they are talking about and be enlightened. That's the central thing. Anyway, none of this is our subject. Come to Bhakti, the path of love. What is the problem? How do they see the problem? The problem is not ignorance. No. Why is the ignorance a problem? Read some Upanishad, get into knowledge, you are Brahman, you know it already. You have read it, you have heard it. Has it helped you? Nothing. Restlessness of mind is also not a problem. That is not really the real problem. Try to meditate, you will get some peace of mind. Has it helped you? Nothing. The moment you come out of that peace of mind saying, the world is like this, you are in pieces. It will not help you, neither in life nor for spirituality. The real problem is we have no faith, no devotion, no surrender to God. The problem is abhakti. Abhakti means lack of love. Not that we do not have love. We have love, but we have scattered it in the world. 101 things our mind is running after. Why? I like it and I want it. Our love is scattered in the world. Our mind is scattered in the world. We may talk big about spirituality, but we are not interested in spirituality. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, who cries for God? If you cry for God, you will get God. But who cries for God? He says, people, I've seen men who come and cry buckets for family, for money. Nobody cries for God. Cry for God, you will get God. Getting God realization is easier than passing an examination. But you have to want it, don't want it. So lack of devotion, lack of love for God is the problem. Not your ignorance, not your scatteredness of the mind. So Vedantic knowledge is not the solution. Yogic meditation is not the solution. Bhakti is the solution. Of course, now I'm taking a different standpoint. Don't be confused. I was saying something else until the last session. Now I'm saying something else altogether. The Acharya, masters of Bhakti, they tell us something interesting. They say, Samadhi, yoga teaches you Samadhi, Patanjali yoga. For what purpose? By Samadhi, you will realize that you are pure consciousness, separate from body and mind, and you are free. Right? Yes. After that enlightenment, is Samadhi necessary? Is yoga necessary? No. Once you get enlightenment, that I am not body and mind, I am pure consciousness, yoga and Samadhi, you have to drop it. It's an upaya, a method. After you climb the roof, you should not stay on the ladder, otherwise you will fall down again. You should let the ladder go. After you cross the river, let the boat go. You say the boat is so nice, it helped me to cross the river, I'll carry it with me. No! You let it go on the river. It's an upaya, a method, it helps you to cross over. Yoga is a method, meditation is a method which helps you to cross over. Let it go. You are Advaita. And now I'm speaking as an Acharya of Bhakti. Advaita. What will Advaita finally give you? Advaita Vedanta. It finally culminates in what is called Brahmakara Vritti. The final intuition that I am Brahman. This knowledge will flash. After all, what are you trying to get in Advaita? Knowledge. What knowledge? I am Brahman. After you get that knowledge, I am Brahman, will you hold on to that or let it go? There is a technicality in Advaita Vedanta which says that once that knowledge comes, you know what it does? That knowledge comes where? In the mind, in the intellect. And what does it do? It removes the ignorance. Where was the ignorance? In the mind. The knowledge in the mind removes the ignorance in the mind, and both are let go. You remain as Brahman. Does Brahman keep on thinking, I am Brahman, I am Brahman? No. Who needs the knowledge, I am Brahman? Does Brahman need the knowledge, I am Brahman? No. Who needs the knowledge? It is this person, this individual called Jiva, individual, who thinks that I am bound, I don't know who I am. Then through the cultivation of Vedantic knowledge, I get this intuitive flash of realization, I am Brahman. After Brahmakara Vritti, after the intuitive realization, I am Brahman, that knowledge also must be you must let go. That sounds a bit counterintuitive, because our way of thinking is, if I don't have knowledge, then I have ignorance. But in this case, what happens is, knowledge comes, destroys ignorance, and it itself also goes away. After all, there is knowledge in the mind. What is the mind? Product of Maya. Once you realize it is all Maya, I am Brahman, even the mind in which knowledge is there, that also is Maya. Sri Ramakrishna put it very nicely. He said, a thorn has entered into our flesh. And then I take another thorn and pick out this thorn and throw it away. The second thorn, will I keep it in the flesh? No, I take that out and throw it away also. And then he said, what is the meaning of this? The thorn of ignorance is there. Get the thorn of knowledge, remove the thorn of ignorance, and throw both away. Nisargadatta. Nisargadatta Maharaj is regarded as a great jnani. You know, the book is very popular, I Am That. That's the book?
Yeah.
Yes. He was once, somebody praised it. You are Brahmagyani, you are a knower of Brahman. That is the highest possible praise in Vedanta. You are a Brahmagyani. Come. Highest possible praise in Vedanta. What is that? You are a Brahmagyani. You know what? He became annoyed. He said, you are insulting me. Insulting you? Brahmagyani, I am insulting you? Yes. I am not a Brahmagyani. I am Brahman. No truly enlightened person will say, I am a knower of Brahman. No. If I say I am a knower of Brahman, then I am apart from Brahman, I know Brahman. Wrong. That such a person is unenlightened. In the words of Kena Upanishad, avidyatam vijanatam, vidyatam avijanatam. To the one who says I know it, they don't know it. To the one who says I do not know it as an object within brackets, it cannot be known as an object, that person truly knows. So, the point is, the teacher of Bhakti will say, so in your Advaita, the Advaitic knowledge, the non-dual knowledge, the intuition you are aiming for, once you get it, then what do you do next? Let it go. You let it go. Because you remain as Brahman. Isn't it true? And we have to say, yes, that's true. But come to Bhakti. You have love of God, intense love of God and Bhakti. Once you suppose you get the vision of God, your Krishna, your Rama, your Christ, your Lord Narayana, Mother Kali, or whatever form you worship God in. Once you get it, you say, by Bhakti I have got the vision of God, now I give up Bhakti. Now I don't love you anymore. Will you tell that to God?
No.
By love I have got God. Once I get God, I don't need love anymore. I stop loving God. How ridiculous it sounds? No. Bhakti is the path. Bhakti is the goal. In Sanskrit, sadhana, sadhya. Sadhana means the method by which you attain the ultimate realization. But after attaining, what will happen? Will you give up Bhakti? Bhakti will increase. Then it will become real. Because that which you are loving so much so far on faith becomes a reality for you. Bhakti is never given up. So the Acharya Bhakti claims superiority here. That in your path of yoga and meditation, you give it up once you attain enlightenment. In your path of knowledge, you give it up once you attain Brahman, that you are Brahman. But in the path of love, you don't give up love. It keeps on increasing. Bhakti keeps on increasing. In the path of knowledge, what we are speaking about, I did not read out the fine print for you. Somebody said, just today in the morning somebody was asking, is it easy? Because when we listen to you, Swami, it seems it's very easy. Then why is it that so few are enlightened? Why is it takes a long time? Is it easy or not? My answer will be depends. Depends on what? The fine print. What's the fine print? If you read any Vedantic text, it will first start with what is called Adhikari Vichara. Adhikari is a Sanskrit word, means a qualified person. Who is qualified for Vedanta? There is a kata, an entrance examination. I went to Nalanda University. It's an ancient Buddhist university. You know how old it is? It started around 500 AD and was finally destroyed by the invaders in 1200 AD. Bhakti or Khiljian, I think, they destroyed it. Buddhist university. So it lasted for 800 years. Nalanda University. It's a famous archaeological survey of a place in India now. It's a tourist spot too. Now I went there to see it. 11,000 students used to study there, and each of them had their individual room. You can still see the rooms, you can go in there. Wonderful place and very interesting. Now why I'm saying this is, the legend goes that if you wanted to study in that university, you would have to go there, and at the gate of the university, the gatekeepers used to be great scholars. And the gatekeeper would ask you questions about grammar, about prosody, about whether you know language, whether you know grammar, basics. And if you pass that examination, you're allowed inside. I think that's where the term entrance examination might have come. So, are you qualified? Things haven't changed so much. Many people say that when they're graduating from school, the kids, Parents are even more anxious. Kids are anxious. Parents are even more anxious. Why? They're getting ready for going into college. So entrance examination, the cutoffs are very high. I must get into Ivy League or something like that. Now, Vedanta is the Ivy League. Unfortunately. What is the cutoff? The cutoff is, first of all, you must have Viveka. Whatever does that mean? A clarity about there is this absolute, permanent, eternal reality called Brahman, and the world is temporal and unchanged and continuously changing. This clarity, everything here is changing and subject to sorrow. There is one ultimate, unchanging spiritual reality called Brahman beyond sorrow. To begin with, this clarity must be there. At least this kind of conviction must be there. Some such thing is there, worth pursuing. One. Second, Vairagya. Vairagya means a dispassion for the entire universe. There is nothing in this universe worth pursuing. The only thing worth pursuing is enlightenment. I must realize that I am Brahman. That's called Vairagya. It's the second one. Then the third one is a set of disciplines. 6 disciplines. Shama, control of the mind. Dhamma, control of the sense organs. Then Titiksha, a spiritual fortitude. No matter whatever difficulty, it may be very hot, it may be very cold, I might be feeling sick, whatever happens, I will continue with my pursuit of enlightenment. It's called Titiksha. Whatever all the problems, the world will throw problems at you. The first thing that is normally sacrificed when you face problems, financial problem, health problem, is spirituality. Oh, meditation, I'll do that later. Today I don't feel too good. You don't say that about your job. You will be out of a job very fast every time you feel you have a little cold or you feel a little not too good, so I won't go to the job today. No, you'll be out of a job very fast. That fortitude, no matter what happens, I will pursue my spiritual practices. Titiksha. Then Uparati, a withdrawal from engagements in the world. There is only limited time. We have very little time. We have very little energy. Devote the best part of the day, devote the maximum amount of energy for spiritual pursuit. We usually do just the opposite. Go through the day somehow before going to bed, little bit to Ramakrishna. I met this person who was very nice gentleman, devotee. He bows down before the image of Sri Ramakrishna in the Viswaroop monastery. When he bows down, he puts his hand like this and you can see he's doing the japa. That's the only time he has got to repeat the mantra. So he bows down morning and evening, he'll come bow down, repeat 108 and go. He's so busy he cannot find time. Uparati, withdrawal from the world. Multiple activities in the world which engage us other than the essentials. You have to earn your livelihood, you have to do some things in the household, in the office, okay. But all kinds of unnecessary expenditure of time and energy, withdraw. That's why people take sannyas. That's why monastic life is supposed to be very closely connected with Vedanta. You see, what is a monk's only purpose in life? Enlightenment. What is the only thing that the monks are supposed to do? Sadhana, spiritual practice. The more I cut out worldly practices, the more I do meditation and japa and Vedantic study, you will say he is a good person, a good monk. The monk is supposed to do that. That's why monastic life is designed for Vedantic practice. Uparati. Then what you have withdrawn from the world, the time you have gained, the energy you have gained, the space you have gained, samadhana. Settle down on your Vedantic pursuit. Not anywhere else. Don't flow out into something else. And then Shraddha. A deep faith that what these people are telling me, what the books are telling me, it's true. Let me follow up and get the experience for myself. It's a working hypothesis. Just like you go to university, you don't go there skeptically. The professor might be lying. The books must be full of fake news, alternative facts. You don't say that. There is an implicit shraddha there. What my physics book or chemistry book or math book is telling me, this is true. I don't get it yet. It's meaningless to me right now. But if I pursue it, I will get it. Vedanta is like that. It doesn't want you to believe. Remember, this Shraddha, many people think, oh, in Vedanta also you have to believe. Shraddha is necessary. Shraddha means faith. Not in that sense. So Shraddha, it's a working hypothesis. That what the books are telling me, what the Swami is telling me, what I'm reading, it's true, I don't get it yet. If you go to a physics class and the teacher is teaching something, E is equal to mc square, writes on the blackboard and says, did you get it? And you say, sir, you said it, I believe you. The professor will be exasperated. I don't want you to believe me. No sir, you have said it. I have complete faith in you. I believe you. You have to get it. You have to understand it. I don't want you to believe me. Vedanta is like that. You have to get it for yourself. Alright, so Shraddha. The sixfold disciplines first. And then the fourth qualification, you must be getting confused. 6 and 4 and so on. The fourth qualification is mumukshutva, an intense desire to be free. An intense desire to be free. You don't feel that. It is nice. I might feel a little desire. Knowing that I am Brahman might be a nice thing to add to my resume. But otherwise things are nice for me. If things are nice for you, you are not yet ready for Vedanta. So fourfold qualifications. Viveka, Vairagya, sixfold discipline and mumukshutva. This discrimination between Brahman and the world. I want Brahman, I don't want the world. Discipline, spiritual discipline, sixfold. And an intense desire to be free. This is entrance examination. Do you have all of this? I step back. No. Then goodbye. You say, why? I can come and attend. I attend Vedanta classes. I understand Vedanta. What will happen is, one teacher, Vedanta teacher told me, if we do not have these qualifications and you study Vedanta, the result will be, either I will not understand anything, what's going on, or even more tragic, I will understand, but it will have no benefit in my life. I feel I have understood a particularly clever philosophy, but so what? I am still suffering. I don't feel I am Brahman. I understand the theory of it. It seems like a philosophy. With these qualifications, the same class will be enlightened. I am Brahman, clear. I am Brahman. With qualifications. Without qualifications, I learned that there is something called Brahman, and in some way I am Brahman, but I don't understand it so far. Whereas in comparison to that, Bhakti, in the path of Bhakti, what qualification is necessary?
Love.
Nothing, not even love.
Surrenderance.
No qualification is necessary. You just start. It is compared to Bhakti and Jnana, knowledge and love are compared to, knowledge is compared to a king. If you invite a king to your house, first of all you must clean your house nicely, you must put up nice decoration, you must hire out good furniture, everything must be nice because the king is going to come to your house. What will the king do? Nothing. He'll come and sit royally and look at you, yes, entertain you. Jnana is like that. Get everything ready, then Jnana, knowledge will come into your house and sit down royally and do nothing. But Bhakti is like a humble maid servant. Let her into your house, let the house be dirty. She will clean it up. Make a space for herself. Bring Bhakti, love of God into your life. Everything else, all these disciplines, all these virtues, they will all follow in its train. It will transform your life by itself, just the love of God. No qualification necessary for Bhakti. Anybody and everybody is allowed inside. In Jnana also anybody and everybody is allowed inside, but it will not work for you. It will not work for me unless I have some amount of those qualifications. But Bhakti, without these qualifications, if I allow it inside, then it will work for me. It will immediately start working for me. How do I allow it inside? What is the way? The way is this. Many things in the world we say mine. Add God to that list of mine. Mera, mine. My father, my mother, my husband, my wife, my child, my grandchild, my house, my job, my bank balance, my stocks and shares, my gadgets, my iPhone, my garden, my dog. After that whole list, my dog, after that put my God, no problem. Bhakti is so humble. Just add to the list of 100 things which you say mine. Add just, you don't have to give up anything. Jnana says throw everything out. Brahman. Very difficult. Bhakti says let all of it remain, no problem. Just little request. Add 101 list. 101, my God. Jnana says Brahman exists. But Bhakti does not say God exists. What Bhakti says, my God. Establish a personal connection with God. Do you see the difference? You see the beautiful sunset on the river. You don't say my sunset or my river. You admire it. It's beautiful. But when you go back home, my son, my daughter, do you see the difference there? That closeness, that intimacy, that love which you have with people you love, things which you love, mine, that you don't have with the force of nature. You admire it. In Jnana it's like that, Brahman, Satchidananda, wonderful. But here in Bhakti, my Krishna. The moment you do that, what will happen? In Sanskrit they say, next thing which will happen is, there is a nyaya, there is an analogy used in Sanskrit, it's called Bhikshu Pada Prasarana Nyaya. The analogy of the holy beggar spreading or stretching his legs. He's stretching your legs, stretching his legs. What does it mean? In India, many of the beggars are also wandering monks or holy people. So they are called Bhikshu. Bhikshu literally means a beggar, but in Buddhism, for example, Bhikshu means a monk. So Bhikshu comes to your house, this holy wandering beggar, and says, what does he say? Oh, just give me a corner in your house. I don't want anything, just a little corner for me to sit. Okay, take the corner. Now the Bhikshu says, just a little more space to stretch out my legs. And I have a little image of Krishna. So a corner for Krishna, for the Lord. I can't keep the Lord where I am sitting. So another corner for Krishna, for the image of Lord. And of course, when the Lord is in the house, you must make offerings. So every day cooked food has to be offered. So a corner in your kitchen, because I cannot mix the offerings to the Lord with your other cooking. So a special corner must be set out there. The Lord's cooking has to be done. And of course, all the flowers in your garden, the first flower, choicest flowers which will be offered to the Lord. Slowly what happens is that stretching out the legs, it covers all of your life. The story of the camel putting its nose into the tent, slowly it entered and the person who was in the tent was forced out because the camel. Similarly, in a good way, what Bhakti does is it spreads over your life. Slowly takes up. It becomes 101 on your list, and slowly it moves up the list till it becomes most important in your list. Everything else falls away, becomes secondary. That Lord who is present, my God, my Krishna, becomes most important in your life. That's the Mahima, the glory of Bhakti. It is expressed in action. Love without action, bhakti without seva, that does not make any sense. Action means, when you say, I love you, you tell the children, what will you do for the children? Oh, nothing. Then what is the meaning of love? When a mother or father loves the children, the love is continuously expressed in service. They don't think of it as service, they think of it as love. Because I love, I work and pay for their education, I look after their health, I look after their food, and if they are happy, how they are doing in life, everything I take. There is unlimited liability for the child. Limited liability company, family is unlimited liability company. Why? Because of love. So love for God will be automatically expressed as service. Bhakti will be automatically expressed as service. You will want to do things. Not only some things, not only make a garland for God, not only make food offerings for God, not only do puja and offer to God, but every other thing in your life, you should connect to God. When you work in the office, when you're signing a paper, it's another flower I'm putting at the feet of my Krishna. When I cook food for the members in the family, they think mom is cooking for me and for dad and for everybody else, but I'm actually cooking it for the Krishna in each of you. I'm feeding my Krishna. You try it and see. Any action that you do, mentally you just feel that the Lord is present and I am offering this action to the Lord. Whether it's in your workplace or in the community or back at home, every action can be connected to God. Swami Vivekananda says, never approach anything except as God. You find your Krishna or your Rama everywhere in your life, and all your action is spiritualized. What will happen is your whole day will become a worship. Of what? Of that Krishna who entered your life as 101 mist. My Krishna has become one, number one. All your love will be concentrated. You will see the fragrance of holiness, an elevation, a sattvic thing which will come into your life. Holy Mother says, there is a joy in this. Ma Sharda says, it may seem negative. She tells a lady, my child, if you love human beings, you will suffer. Love God, you will never suffer. If you love human beings, you will suffer. Does that mean I will love God and not love human beings? You love all human beings through God. I love my Krishna whom I see in everybody. Everybody will feel what? That he loves me or she loves me. But actually I am loving, and it's not imagination. In fact, it is the truth. Because the reality of each one of you, reality of each one of us is the Lord within each of us. So if you love God in each human being, you're actually loving the reality about that human being. And people feel it. Though they may not see themselves, their own reality as Krishna or Rama, but they feel your love. Alright, in the little bit of time remaining, we shall speak about some of the higher practices of love. The higher practices of love. Here I want to make a distinction. Everybody is a bhakta. Anybody who has got some devotion for God is a bhakta, who loves God. But here I want to make a distinction between conventional religion and spirituality. Between ordinary bhakti and higher bhakti. What difference is this? Most people, if you go and see the long queues in temples in India, thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people who are queuing up there. The thousands you see in mega churches here, mosques everywhere who are worshipping God, devotee of God, lover of God. Are they really there for God or for the world? Most of them are there. You know why they are there? Here I am in this samsara, I need a support. I need somebody, a nice backup. In trouble, whom will I hold on to? Lord. In desire, I want such and such things. Whom do I pray to? God. Many of the people who go to temples, what do they go? They have got puja, offerings. For what? They may have either specific desires in mind. Let this disease be cured. Let my son find a job or something like that. Or they may not have any specific desire, but a general desire. Let my life be nice. Let my life be without major troubles. Let my family members be okay. Let me not be fired from my job. And if I am fired, let me find another job very quickly. So, anything, all kinds of desires, all kinds of troubles, from a serious thing like cancer, let it be cured, up to say, let me find parking. So, all of these desires, I am going to God. You know what we are doing in that kind of bhakti? We are going to Lord, we are going to God and to Krishna, to God, and you know what we are praying for? We are praying for the world. I want the world. Here I am, I have got bhakti for you, my God. God looks at you, smiles, oh very nice, what do you want? The world. Give me the world. And the sign of this bhakti is, what the test is, suppose things don't go well. Then what happens is, I prayed and so much, but the disease was not cured. I have lost faith in God. Why have you lost faith in God? Because my faith in God was for getting certain results. God did not deliver fire. We have conveniences. Washing machine, dishwasher, convenience. Car, convenience. Mobile phone, convenience. God, convenience. God is also convenience. It makes our life a little better. If it does not, then God is. If it does not, then God is dismissed. That's the sign of this. What happens suddenly? It should be like this. If it does not happen, then God is dismissed. Because I am using God for improving my life. If my life is not up to what my expectations are, then God is dismissed. Is God for my life or is my life for God? If I say, the purpose of my life is to realize God, purpose of my life is that I am a devotee of God, that's the purpose of my life, that is the higher bhakti. The lower bhakti is also bhakti because you believe in God and you love God. The lower bhakti is God is for making my life better. Majority of people are in this. But if you want to be spiritual, you must take the next step up there. Let what will happen in my life, let it happen. From God I will not ask for the world. When I go to God, what will I ask for? I will ask for God. Krishna says all are bhaktas. Artha, Jigyasu, Artharthi, Jnanicha. There are people who come to me, Krishna says, who are in distress. Some problem in life, some disaster in life. Lord, save me. And Krishna is not dismissive. He says, it's alright. It's alright. They are also devotees. There is another class who are not in any trouble. No disaster in life, no problem in life. But they want something. Things are okay. I don't have any major problem. But I have got some desires. Maybe wealth or prosperity, or I want to win this award, or win an election. In India, all the politicians will make a beeline to temples and all for puja before the elections. So I want something. That's called artharthi, those who want something from God. They are also devotees because they have, after all, whom are they approaching? They are approaching God. Krishna says they are also devotees. But higher than this is, he says, Jigyasu, the enquirer. There is a person who is not in any trouble. There is a person who does not really want anything from God, but has a spiritual query. What is the purpose of life? Does God exist? When Narendranath ran to Ramakrishna, have you seen God? He was not asking God to solve any problem. He had no worldly desire to fulfill. He just wanted to know, does God exist? Can I see God? Jigyasu, inquirer. That's where you make the difference, the jump from conventional religion to spirituality. This jump we must make. And after that, Krishna says, Jnani, the enlightened person also worships God, loves God. And he says, among all of these people, the Jnani, the enlightened person, is the true devotee of God. Because he alone truly worships God, because for him God is a reality. The others are moving on faith. So, this transition from the lower bhakti to the higher bhakti is made when you decide, not God as a convenience for my life. I do many things in life. I have family, I have a nice job, a good position in society, plus I go to church or temple. That's conventional religion. To be known as a decent person in society, I must have some religion in life. Conventional. There's a cartoon. The Reverend Father is showing around a member of the community about the remodeled church. It's showing. So this is the community center, this is the youth center, this is where the children will be the play center for the kids who come. So he's showing them around. And the person who's walking with the father says, but father, what about God? And father says, oh God, that's so medieval, we left it out in the modern. So now you have everything in your church or temple except God. So now the world has taken over religion. That should not happen. That is at the level of the world. We must take a step forward. Religion for the sake of God. That is spirituality. My life for God realization, not God for my life. I really like this when Mahatma Gandhi was asked, in his book he writes, autobiography, that Experiments with Truth, that if you ask me who am I, some people think that I am a politician, some people think that I am a social reformer, some people think I am a freedom fighter. That's what people think about Mahatma Gandhi. But if you ask me, I am a simple man in search of God. You see, from his point of view, what is he doing? From our point of view, he is extremely busy in politics, in social reform, in fighting for the independence of India against the British and so on and so forth. But from his point of view, he is doing only one thing. He is searching for God. So our external activities may continue, but this is an internal shift. Who am I? Am I a worldly person or a spiritual person? If I am a spiritual person, my one-pointed internal quest is enlightenment. External life will continue. Monk will remain a monk, a housewife will remain a housewife, a corporate executive will remain a corporate executive, a student will remain a student. But internally, my purpose in life is moksha, enlightenment, nirvana, God realization. That's my goal of life. Alright, I will conclude with a few practices of this higher bhakti. First of all, how do I step from the lower bhakti to a higher bhakti? A very simple but very powerful practice. Next time when you come to before Sri Ramakrishna, we will go to the temple before Krishna, Janmashtami is coming. You know how you will go? Go as a lover of Krishna. Don't go as a dad or a mom. Don't go as a corporate executive. Don't go as a person who has some problem to be solved. Don't go as a person who has got some desire to be fulfilled. No. When I come before Sri Ramakrishna, when I come before my Krishna, I come as a lover of Krishna. Nothing else I want in the world, my Lord. If there's anything that I want only you. Go with that attitude and see how your whole thing changes. How your whole mind will change. When you stand before the Lord as, I don't want anything from you, my Lord. I just want you. I don't care about myself. I just care about you. When you stand like that in front of the Lord, your entire mind will be changed. Your whole attitude to spirituality will be changed. Usually when we go into the temple, we carry a host, all these apps are there. We have a lot of apps. Dad app or mom app and a corporate executive app and a person with so many agendas, a community agenda app or social agenda app. All of this we carry in a cloud around us when we go to the Lord. There was this person, I think Kedar or somebody, in the Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna says something very disturbing. He said, I wanted to touch him. I think Kedar probably. Sri Ramakrishna used to touch the chest or something and or the head and send the person into ecstasy and give a vision of God. I wanted to do that for him, but I could not. The roots of worldliness run so deep in him, I couldn't touch him. It's like entering a room full of filth. God hesitates to enter. God wants to be gracious to us, wants to bestow highest spirituality on us, but hesitates to enter. When we enter in the Lord's presence with a cloud of desires hanging around us, we may not be aware of it because we think that's who I am. I am a dad, I am a mom, I am a son or a daughter, I have got problems in society, family, community. So I go to the Lord to pray. But I am with a cloud of desires I am entering. Leave that cloud behind. Come in as a lover of Krishna. You will see the difference. You look at the Lord, for the first time the Lord will look at you. What are the practices of higher bhakti? First one, Nama. But first we must make up our mind, I am here only for spirituality. Then only these practices will work. Nama. Nama means name. There is a nice, cute story that when the universe was created, there was a division of property between God and man. The Lord said, Krishna said, Vishnu said, from now on, I have got two things to give. My form, Narayana, whatever, and my name. From now on, the form will remain with me. You will not be able to see me. But my name will remain with you. You will have the name. The name of Krishna, the name of Rama. Mahamantra. These are not ordinary words. Just as if I call your name, John or Jaiprakash or whatever I call, Kalyan, whatever I call, immediately you said, yes, you called. God responds when we call with the name, with the specific names. These are mystic word symbols. The whole science of mantras is involved there. The name of Rama, Mahamantra. At the end of the Ramayana, when you find Rama is going back with Sita to Ayodhya, and one by one, whatever the people want, they get. Vibhishana gets the kingdom of Lanka, very happy, bows down to Rama and goes away. Sugriva becomes the king of the monkeys and is very happy, goes away. Hanuman is sitting there quietly. Rama asks, Hanuman, what do you want? And Hanuman says, all I want is to hear the name of Rama. How long? Forever. Forever. See, the name of Rama is not an instrument, some spiritual practice which I will do to get some results. No, no. That's what I want. That's the goal. In Ramnam, that's why at the end, Kritavastaka Anjalim, Vashpavavim Paripurna Locham, there's that Ramnam, at the end of it, it's there. Wherever the name of Rama will be sung, as long, he says, as long as the sun and the moon are there, as long as the Ganges flows on the earth, wherever the name of Rama is sung, I want to be there, Hanuman says. I want to listen to the name of Rama. He says, I will be there. He promises, with folded hands to your head, with tears in my eyes, I will be sitting there listening. That's why whenever we have Ramnam, one extra asana will be kept for Hanuman, because Hanuman is there. That's our belief. He promised that wherever the name of Rama is sung, he will be there to listen. With folded hands, with tears in his eyes. How long? Forever. As long as the universe lasts. That's what his desire is. The name of Rama. The name of Krishna. Mahamantra. So the name is very important. It's a very powerful spiritual practice. Swami Sarvapriyananda used to say, those who have got mantra from Guru, the mantra of Ishta Devata from Guru, when you have got it, you have already got God. One individual, a mathematician, a few days ago in our Hollywood Center, he was visiting. Chinese gentleman. He said, I have taken initiation from one of our Swamis. He said, by himself, he said, I felt that when I got the mantra, I've got the mantra in some sense, I am convinced I've already got God. I don't know it yet. I said, you are right. Swami Sarvapriyananda used to say exactly this thing. When you are given the mantra, you have been given God in the seed form. You don't know it yet. Cultivate it, you will get it. You've already got it. The name of God. Second, the form of God. In Hinduism, God is conceived to have infinite forms. There is a conflict that the Abraham religion says that God is formless. So we say that if God is formless, then what is with form other than God? So God is limited, only formless, and the one act which is without form, with form is other than God. Then there are two things in this universe: one formless God and something else which is with form. I put it this way: you are an immortal soul. Even in Abrahamic religions, you are an immortal soul, are you not? Yes. Formless? Yes. You, an immortal soul, have a form right now. If you, an individual, you can have a form, can't God have a form? Why is God weaker than you? No, of course not. Every form is the form of God. In Advaita, if you look at Advaita, what we studied today, every wave is nothing but the water in the ocean. Everything that you see in this universe is a form of God. But there are special forms of God which you worship. Traditionally you have been worshipping the form of, say, Narayana, of Devi, of Durga, of Kali, of Ganesha, of Shiva, all of the avatars, Rama, Krishna, Christ, and Ramakrishna. So these forms are also very powerful. I love this story from the life of Ramanujacharya. Ramanuja, the great teacher of Vishishtadvaita. There's a story about him that he lived for a long time, 120 years. So by that time this story happens, he was in the temple of Sri Rangam, which is in the south of India, which is a temple of Vishnu, and Vishnu in the reclining posture. And Ramanuja was there. And by that time already he was well known as a great saint, a great teacher of Bhakti, of love of God, of love of Vishnu. And in the traditional celebrations, especially in the south of India, there are big processions in the temple, sometimes around the village also. And what happens in these processions is, there are small images called Utsava Murti, which are carried around in the procession. And there is chanting, and there is incense and offerings and all. So it was a huge celebration which was going on. And Ramanuja was there with his disciples. And the procession was going on. Thousands of people thronging, chanting of mantras going on. And in the midst of this, they saw a young man, well built, holding an umbrella over the head of a young girl and staring at that girl continuously. Everybody staring at the image of the Lord, and he's staring at that girl. People were thinking, who is this fellow? Now as Ramanuja was passing by, he noticed it, and he told one of his disciples, call that young man. They thought, why has Ramanuja taken notice of that obviously the useless fellow? Anyway, they went and they asked him, our master Ramanujacharya is calling you. Don't know why, but he's calling you. And that young man said, okay, I'm coming. He put the umbrella down and he walked over and he bowed down to Ramanuja. Ramanuja asked him, who are you? He said, I am Dhanurdasa. He was a wrestler. I'm Dhanurdasa. Who is that girl? Her name is Hemamba. Why are you staring at her? Because she has the most beautiful pair of eyes in the universe. That's why I'm staring at her. The most beautiful pair of eyes I've ever seen. So all the devotees around Ramanuja, they went, oh, what is he saying in front of Ramanuja in this holy occasion? But Ramanuja was not at all annoyed. He said, do you want to see an even more beautiful pair of eyes? If you want to see, I will show you. That boy said, yes, of course. Then come today in the evening, when the evening Vesper services, Arati is performed in the temple, come inside, go inside the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Garbha Mandir, where the image is there. Will they allow me in? He said, yes, you tell them my name, I have asked for you, they will allow you in. He said, alright. Then he went up, picked up the umbrella and again resumed his staring at the girl. Now that day in the evening, just before the evening Arati of Vishnu, that young man came and Ramanuja was standing in front of the image, and it's in traditional old Hindu temples are dark inside, and the oil lamps they give some illumination. So when the priest, it's a very big reclining image of Vishnu. So when the priest waves the lamp with the light, so parts of the body of the image are lit up at different times. The feet, the waist, the chest, then the face. Like that, when you wave the lamp. As the light of the lamp fell on the face of Vishnu, the reclining Vishnu, Ramanuja suddenly grabbed hold of this Dhanurdasa's hand and said, look, the most beautiful pair of eyes in the universe. And as Dhanurdasa looked, the image came alive for him. He looked into the face of God, and Vishnu looked back at him. Immediately, to the amazement, others could not see this, amazement of everybody, this young man went into Samadhi. Every hair in his body standing on end, he went into Samadhi. Seeing him, Ramanuja went into Samadhi. And others saw this wondrous sight. After that, he became one of the greatest disciples. He and that girl, they got married, and this Hemamba and Dhanurdasa were wonderful devotees. And there are many stories about their devotion, and there are very inspiring stories about the devotion of Hemamba and Dhanurdasa. The form of God. There is a Vaishnava Shastra. Why does it suddenly act up sometimes? Yes. There is a Vaishnava Shastra which says, I have forgotten the exact verse, which says, if you look upon the face of Hari, if you look upon the face of Hari, what's the battery? What's that? Okay, I'm also done almost, I think. If you look upon the face of Hari in the lamp, in the light of the Aratrika lamp, if you look with devotion, with bhakti upon the face of Hari in the light of the Aratrika lamp, the sins of 1,000 lives are washed away. If you look once with devotion at the face of Hari, at the face of Bhagavan in the lamp light of the Aratrika, it's just a eulogy. That's a very emotional way of putting it. What a beautiful thing to say. The form of God. Very powerful. Last, Vibhutis. This is from the Gita 10th chapter. Wherever you see, I'll give this to you. Wherever you see the glories of nature, the sun and the moon. In the 10th chapter of Gita, Sri Krishna says, among the celestial bodies I am the sun. Among the mountains I am Meru. Among all the water bodies I am the ocean, or something, or Janhavi, the Ganges, things like that. Now everything is Brahman, no doubt. But whatever expresses glory and power and beauty and majesty, yes, there specially the power, there specially the Lord is manifested. So whenever you see something beautiful, the sun, the sky, the rivers, the ocean, beauty in nature, the love of a mother for an infant, all these things which are beautiful and magnificent in nature, in life, immediately see God there. It's easier to see God there. Krishna says in the Gita, I am everything, but specifically I am telling you these things. Why? So that you can meditate on these and be reminded of me. So in everything in nature, wherever you find something draws you, something wonderful and sublime, immediately connect it. There is the sun. In the Vedas it is there. The sun and the moon are his eyes. It's a meditation. Don't say, no, the sun is a ball of hydrogen. It's undergoing fusion. That's a scientific way of looking at it. But here it's the glory of God. It reminds you of the Lord. The Vibhuti Yoga. The glory and the magnificence that you see all around you. That should remind you of Satchidananda, the existence, consciousness, bliss, whose manifestations all these are. There are other practices. There are a number of others. But I told you three. Name, form, vibhuti. Nama, rupa, vibhuti. Vibhuti means glory. Name, form and glory. In fact, in avatars like Krishna or Ramakrishna or the Christ, in avatars, three things they provide us. Name, Krishna is a name. Form of Krishna and the Leela, the life story. These three things. One Advaitic teacher was saying, you will say these are waves in the ocean of Brahman. There is a Brahman, there are waves in the ocean of Brahman, and the waves are name and form and all of this. But the waves in the ocean of nectar are also nectar. I'll repeat that. Waves in the ocean of nectar, Amrita. waves in the ocean of Amrita, of nectar, are also nectar. If you touch a wave, are you not touching nectar? If you touch the wave, are you not touching water? Similarly, so if you meditate on the name of Krishna, if you meditate on the form of Krishna, if you meditate on the Leela, the life story of Krishna, you are connecting Satchidananda. You are touching Satchidananda. Name, form, life story. What did Krishna do? Imagine something. The Gospel of Ramakrishna is in front of us. You read it, you get a vivid description of what's going on. Just imagine it in your mind. Recreate it. It's as good as being in contact with God. There's a story I forgot to tell, and I would like to tell that. It's an ancient Tamil story. It's the story of the Anwars, the fourth Anwar. The presence of God, the form of God actually. The Anwars were ancient sages in Tamil Nadu, in the south of India. So there are many stories about their devotion. One of the Anwars, one of these saints, he was lying down in his little hut and taking the name of Narayana or Vishnu, repeating the name and lying down. It was raining outside. Then he thought, it's raining. Suppose another monk comes, another saint comes. How will I give him space? Let me sit up and take the name of Vishnu. So we can both sit. The moment he sat up, there was a knock on the door. Can I come in? So this another wandering monk comes in. So, yes, brother, come in and sit. Let us both sit. It's enough space for us both to sit, and we can take the name of God. So both of them sat, and both of them thought that if a third person comes in, then how are we going to accommodate him? Let's stand and take the name of God. The moment both of them stood up and started taking the name of God, so there's a knock. Can I come in? And another wandering monk comes in. And they're all standing. He says, come brother, you can stand and take the name of Lord. Let's pass the night in that way. And they both all are standing and taking the name of, and repeating the name of Narayana. Then all of them thought that if another wandering monk comes in at this time, how will we accommodate him? Let's crush together. So that little more space comes, and then stand like that and take the name repeat the name of Narayana. The moment they thought that and they crushed together, there's a knock. Can I come in? A fourth one comes in. He said, yes brother, come and crush together so that we can all stand together, be sheltered from the name, and let's pass the night thinking of the Lord. This fourth one in the darkness, when he came in and he crushed together with them, all three of them went into Samadhi. They thought, wait a minute, who is this fourth one? When we felt the touch of his body, we went into ecstasy. They lit a lamp, one of them, and put it on the face of the fourth one who had come. And they saw Vishnu. Narayana standing there. The form of Vishnu. That means, because of their intense devotion, God comes as the fourth. And because of the touch of the form of the Lord, all of them went into ecstasy. Very nice, beautiful story. Alright, we still have some time before Arati. We can have one or two questions. Yes. So this was about the importance of Bhakti. Yes.
So, I know, Swami, one question from the last session. Could I ask now?
Yes, certainly.
Okay. So when you say goddess is Maya,
no, is Mahamaya.
Is Mahamaya. So she is Sarvapriyandanda.
She is Satchidananda plus Maya.
Right. So you said for the people also, ordinary people like me, I am also Satchidananda plus Maya.
Yes.
So how goddess is superior in what way?
Correct. It's a very good question. It's like this. If you had seen the diagram, you would notice one thing. I divided Maya into parts. Right? We are one part of Maya, one bit of Ajnana. Same Satchidananda, limited by one bit of Ajnana, becomes one Jiva. You, me, him, her, all of us. Whereas the totality of Maya is the power of the goddess, of Divine Mother, or of Vishnu or Shiva, and any form of Saguna Brahman. The difference is like this. Sri Ramakrishna says, The totality of the poison is in the mouth of the serpent. It does not do anything to the cobra. But the cobra, if it bites and puts a little bit of that poison into the frog or the mouse will die or the frog will die. Little bit of the poison is enough to kill the prey. All of that poison is present in the mouth of the, actually not in the mouth, in the glands of the cobra. It does not do anything to the cobra. Similarly, they say Maya is the power of Ishvara. The Lord is Maya. The Sanskrit words are the Lord is Maya Dhisha, the Lord of Maya. Divine Mother or Narayana or Vishnu or Shiva, whatever you call it. Maya Dhisha, the Lord of Maya. We are Maya Dhina. We are under the domain of Maya. We are caught in the spell of Maya. Ishvara is not caught in the spell of Maya. Ishvara. Another funny way one Swami explained it was, all of us have one vote. We cast a vote and the person who receives those votes becomes the Prime Minister or President and rules over all of us. So you get all votes, you become the Prime Minister or President. You have one vote, then you are the subject. All votes, ruler. One vote, subject. One bit of Maya, Jiva. All of Maya, Ishvara. So Maya Shakti, it is Shakti of Ishvara, but it affects us.
Is it correct to say that? So is it correct interpretation to say they are in charge of Maya versus we are?
That is the exact Sanskrit word. Maya Dhisha, Maya Dhina. Maya Dhisha means Lord of Maya. Maya Dhina means under the domain of Maya. We are under the domain of Maya. We are under the control of Maya. We are helpless. They are not helpless. God is not helpless. It is the power of the Lord. Now, why would the Lord keep us in this spell, you might ask? Not because the Lord is a villain or Maya is a villain. No. It's because we want this. We want to enjoy life in this way. Enjoy means both suffer and enjoy, both of it. And all of this is provided because of God through Maya provides this. It's like you want to play. So your mom and dad have given you a playground and playmates and equipment to play. Go and play as long as you want. Yes.
In Bhakti, there's a lot talk about vision of God.
Yes.
So is vision of God is really true for Vedanta?
Absolutely. You see, Vedanta talks about 3 levels of reality. One is Paramarthika, Brahman. Paramarthika means absolute level of reality. Brahman is the only reality, ultimately. But for our purposes, this world which we inhabit right now, you are there, I am here, there is time, space, causation, matter, energy, life. What about this world? So Vedanta grants it a kind of provisional reality called Vyavaharika, transactional, empirical reality, relative reality. So you are a human being, I am a human being, this is the world we inhabit. Where? In the Vyavaharika, transactional reality called Vyavaharika in Vedanta. There is even a lower level of reality called Pratibhasika. Pratibhasika means illusory. A rope sometimes appears as a snake for us. In a mirage we sometimes see water. Look at the sky now, it will appear blue. So that appearance, illusion, error is called Pratibhasika. You still experience it. A dream. A dream is Pratibhasika, appearance, illusion. Your waking life is Vyavaharika, relative, and Brahman is Paramarthika, the absolute. Now, Ishvara and the visions of Ishvara are all within this Vyavaharika realm. They all point to the ultimate reality called Brahman. In every vision of God, whether when Sri Ramakrishna is seeing Mother Kali or not, or somebody Mirabai seeing Krishna, in every vision of God, there are 2 aspects. There is Satchidananda, which is the reality, and the name and form, which is part of the Vyavaharika world. Yes. Vedanta will say, yes, we will get a microphone here. Vedanta will say, do you consider this world to be real for the time being? I said, yes. In that sense, the visions of God are also equally real. How real? As real as this world. As real as Brahman? No. At that level, Vedanta has will not make any compromise. Only one reality, which is Satchidananda, which is beyond name and form. Anywhere there is name and form, if you see a big God, I am seeing God, Krishna. Clearly there is a name, clearly there is a form, clearly there is a seer and a seen, then it must be within Vyavaharika. But the difference is, all these things which we are seeing, they trap us in samsara. But if you see a vision of Krishna, you see a vision of Rama, if Sri Ramakrishna sees a vision of Kali, those forms and names help to liberate us from samsara.
Swamiji, during meditation, should we attempt to be thoughtless or should we let the thought run through?
Neither. The kind of meditation which is prominent in Vedanta and Hinduism is to take up one thought and focus there. And the thought is a divine thought. It could be a name of God and a form of God. Other thoughts, you're supposed to set it aside. So in preliminary, in the beginning of your meditation, you can take an attitude of awakeness, let the thoughts pass by. You're standing on a bridge and imagine the stream flowing by, your thoughts are like the stream flowing by. You can do that. Or you can simply try to empty the mind and be calm and let the mind settle down. But then real meditation, which you call in Hinduism, you call it upasana. You either have a form or a name or a symbol. Something should be there. You see, in meditation they call it alambana, support. What are you meditating on? So there must be something that you're focusing on. I know there is a whole other category of meditation popularized in Buddhism, like Vipassana and all. Those are witness meditations. You just watch. What will you watch? Watch the breath, watch the sensations of the body, watch the sounds out, that means experience the sounds outside, watch the thoughts arising in your mind. In this way, the apparent personality is supposed to dissolve. So that's one approach to meditation. But the approach to meditation which we favor in Vedanta is you focus on something which represents the divine. It could be a name, a form, a name and a form.
If we choose an alambana,
Usually the Guru chooses it for you.
Oh, good. We should have that vision in our thing while meditating.
Yes. Mostly what we do in Hinduism is you have an Ishta Devata. What is Ishta Devata? It's the same Satchidananda, Saguna Brahman, Ishvara, in a particular form, which is for your own practice. You know that Vishnu and Shiva and Kali and Durga and Ganesha and Kartikeya, they are all the same. You know, they are all Saguna Brahman, different forms and names of Saguna Brahman. But my special Ishta Devata is maybe Shiva. So I imagine a particular form of Shiva and I have a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, which I repeat. That becomes my meditation. Or it could simply be meditation on Om. I repeat Om mentally. Maybe imagine a shining Om in my heart, the letter. That's also a kind of meditation. There the Om is an alambana, a support. What will the mind hold on to? You cannot go to Samadhi straight. Yoga, Chitta Vritti Nirodha, cessation of modifications of the mind. Straight away you cannot do it. What has to be done is all the hundreds of streams of mind which are going outwards, they have to be focused and collected into one stream. That focus will lead to what is called Savikalpa Samadhi. That one stream, thinking about Shiva, then what happens next is this image of Shiva which I am imagining. Basically I am imagining it. This becomes a living experience. The deity, they call it, the deity is awakened. The mantra is awakened. Then you actually feel the presence of God in your heart. This is still Savikalpa. And then the distinction between Shiva and you meditating on Shiva disappears. Only Shiva remains. And then the Shiva form also melts away into the formless. So this is the progression of meditation. Yes, there's a question there.
After you.
Two more questions and then we go for Aarti. Okay, 3 questions.
Just, Swamiji, can you please just give us some of your thoughts on the difference or comparison of Maya and Daya between us living here now and also with Ishar. The difference or how they're related.
Yes. Love for one person specifically, when it is connected to my individuality. When Sri Ramakrishna says, my nephew, my niece, Maya. Everybody is my Gopala, Daya. That is actually Bhakti. I see the baby Krishna in everybody. Not just because it is my nephew, my niece, or my grandson, or my granddaughter. No. And my is selfishness, because it's connected to this body. Whereas when you say everybody is my Gopala, that becomes Daya, or that becomes Bhakti. Love one person, it is worldly. Love the Lord in every person, it is spiritual. Right? And you have to expand, go beyond that. It's good to love your children and your grandchildren and your nephew and niece, because what happens is the progression slowly starts. First of all, you start by loving only yourself. But then I love my mom and dad. Then you get married and you have children, you love husband, wife, children, grandchildren, nephew, niece. Your circle of love widens. But still it is connected to this body. Why? This body is connected to that body because this is my child, my nephew, my niece, my grandson. When you expand further, what really is the difference between this child and that child? You really neutrally think, not much. Both are nice children. Why should I not love all of them equally? That feeling when it comes, then you are expanding beyond human love to the divine love. There is a difference between Maya and Daya. Yes. And we must do that. If we want to move from worldly religion, conventional religion, to being spiritual seekers, we must expand.
What is the word Daya?
That's Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Maya and Daya. I love my own nephew. He gives the example of my nephew, my niece. That is Maya. But everybody is my Gopal. Then he says, that is that. Actually, it's Bhakti.
Kindness?
He is actually making a play on the word Maya and Daya.
Oh, I see.
He used to pun. So, Maya and Daya.
As a grihastha, how does one practice operati?
Yes. That's why it's difficult. Yes. But as I said, there were, if you look at the lives of great grihastha devotees, say in the life of Ramakrishna, if you see somebody like Nag Mahashaya or Master Mahashaya who wrote the Gospel of Ramakrishna, whole of life becomes God-centered. Everything becomes centered around Krishna. You see many grihastha disciples in the life of Chaitanya. Everything becomes Krishna-centered. So your household activities also become Krishna-centered. The household deity which was worshipped in many Hindu houses earlier, that was supposed to serve this purpose. And even in a grihastha household, there is an image of Rama, there is an image of Shiva or of Krishna. Now everything in the house revolves around that. Early in the morning you have to get up and take a bath and perform the worship, cook and offer food to the Lord, then only I and the children can eat. What happens is you put, after all it's only a small image. Why is it so important? You are making your grihastha life also about God. That is the way to do uparati. To connect everything in your grihastha life also. Now cooking is connected to God, taking a bath is connected to God, the daily routine is connected to God. Not giving it up. Giving it up, path of sannyasi. But connecting, it is still there, but you connect it to God, that will be the uparati for grihastha. Last question. Then we must do some practical bhakti.
I have two questions. Sorry. When you say jnana, you obtain this ultimate knowledge, but you have to let go of it. So how does one let go of something that you have known?
You don't have to do anything about it.
Yes, of course, I know it's almost not...
It's automatically done.
Yeah.
It's a technical point. When the Bhakti Acharya is criticizing Jnana, so he makes a technical point. It's there, you see, it's a matter of very subtle philosophy. Advaita, you are Brahman. There's only one reality, Brahman. Now the question is asked, when you get Brahma Jnana, the knowledge of Brahman, after that, do two things remain? Brahman and the knowledge of Brahman. You're saying Brahman is the only reality. What about knowledge of Brahman? Does it remain or not? Whole world is Maya. We say everything is Mithya, only Brahman is real. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. That is the conclusion of Advaita Vedanta. That's what you will realize. Brahma Satyam, Brahman alone is real. Jagat Mithya, the world is an appearance. And then who am I? An appearance or real? You are Brahman. Jiva Brahmaiva Napara. The individual is none other than Brahman. This is what you have realized. Okay? So Brahman is real. You are Brahman. And everything else in the world is false, an appearance of Brahman. What about your knowledge of Brahman? Is it real or false? That also will be falsified. That also is cast in the realm of Maya. You remain as Brahman. That is the technical point which was being made. That's what Advaita says. And that's what the Bhakti Acharya pounces upon. Didn't you say that Brahma Jnana also goes away after enlightenment? You remain as Brahman.
But why can't that knowledge be considered as a part of Brahman itself?
Does Brahman have parts?
No.
The more you think about it, more you will see it's very interesting, this question.
But there is no question of another, so the question of something else being unreal itself doesn't exist. So why do you say that everything else becomes false?
Everything else becomes false means, are you not experiencing this world even after realizing Brahman? When you open your eyes, will you see the body? Yes. When Sri Ramakrishna opens his eyes, does he see Narendranath and Kali temple and Ganga and Calcutta and all of that? Yes. What are these then? The Brahman that you realize is Satchidananda. You are that, no doubt. Then what is all this? All this is an appearance of Brahman. Appearance means false. Another name for falsity is appearance.
All this is an appearance of Brahman?
Of Brahman. Brahman is true. This is an appearance of Brahman. Put it this way. Vedantics put it this way. Brahman misunderstood is the world. The world properly understood is Brahman. So this world as such is a misunderstanding. It is another term for it is mithya, false. It's very simple. If you look at the sky and you read physics and you understand that the blueness in the sky is an appearance. It's not really there. After you read that, after you understand it, then you again look up at the sky, what will you see? Blue. And what will you say to that blue? It's false. It just appears like that. There's no blueness there. The southwest plains are not blue because they flew through the sky and they became blue. No. It's not really blue out there. It just looks like that. Same thing about the world you will see after realization. It just looks like this. It's actually Brahman. That's what is meant by the world is false. Alright, one more question? Yes.
Can this knowledge or understanding, I don't know, can it be transformed into Bhakti? Which one? Brahma Jnana.
Oh, that's such a beautiful question. It's good that we are going to end on that question. Certainly. You just look at the lives of saints. Suppose someone like Mirabai, lover of Krishna. Clearly she is a bhakta. Will you say she is an ajnani? No. And Sri Ramakrishna, what will you say? Oh, he is a bhakta. Swami Vivekananda said about Sri Ramakrishna. He said, I seem to be jnani outside, but inside I am very soft. I am a bhakta. Vivekananda said about himself. And he said the old man, Sri Ramakrishna, he seemed to be a bhakta outside. Inside he was all jnana. In the Gita it is said, having attained to jnana of me, Krishna says that, then one attains bhakti. The result of bhakti is jnana. The result of jnana is also bhakti. In the Bhagavad it is there. There are those who are Jivan Muktas, who are enlightened, who have realized I am Brahman. Who have realized I am Brahman. And they roam about with tears in their eyes, hearing the name of Hari. Such is the greatness of the name of Hari. That Jivan Muktas, who have realized Brahman, they revel in the bhakti of Hari. Sri Ramakrishna says, having attained jnana, then live the rest of your life with bhakti bhakto bhagavan. And he says, Ei pakama, this is the final opinion. Express that jnana as devotion to the Lord. Greatest of jnanis, Ramana Maharshi, beautiful expression of bhakti towards Arunachala. It's an expression of jnana, that bhakti. Madhusudan Saraswati, in that Gita commentary itself, in one place he says, if there are yogis who want to sit, he is a great jnani, he is the author of the toughest, the grandest book on Advaita Vedanta called Advaita Siddhi, Madhusudan Saraswati. This person, this Madhusudan Saraswati, he says, if there are yogis who want to sit in meditation and see the light within their hearts, they want to sit in caves and meditate, and they want to see the light within their hearts in Samadhi, let them do so. But for me, it is enough to see the little blue boy playing on the bank of the river Yamuna. It's Krishna. For me, that is enough. That's all I want to see. What a beautiful synthesis of jnana, yoga and bhakti. Thank you. So we'll have our arati now.